Can one of you guys kind of just fill us in on Think? What is Think? Give us the overview, and then we can kind of dig a little bit deeper.
So if you're old enough to remember the internet when it was AOL and you would get all those, CDs sent to your house, and like here was one of the most capitalized companies in all of history, right? Like AOL was going to win. It was going to be the monopoly. And all of a sudden, Mark Andreessen from A16Z says, hey, I'm going to build this thing called Netscape with my friends, and we're going to create a standard way for websites to work. And then that was essentially what let the dot-com boom happen, is because you didn't need permission to build a website. You didn't need permission to build Amazon.com or Excite or eBay. You could just go build it, and then everybody could use it because it was a standard. We're doing that same thing for AI agents so that we have standardized agents that can all talk to each other and work together. And we're building actual agents that can do actual things because we believe that we can actually create better products than Web 2 by doing so.
This protocol is like doing what blockchains did for digital value. So people like today, this whole kind of multi-trillion-dollar industry is built on the premise of digital property rights, or like owning digital things online. That was the double spend problem that Bitcoin solved. You could now own a digital thing and prove it was yours. And that's why we're all here. They did that by creating this shared understanding, a state of a ledger. Everyone could verify that state and interact with that state. And then what David did was define a whole bunch of things you could do on top of that state. Like, this is what a DApp is. This decentralized application can look at this data that everyone shares and understands, and anyone can build an app on that data. And the next app could come along tomorrow and it could do something totally different, or it could change the way that it was monetized, or any of those kind of things. But it would always be to rely on this data that lived underneath that application. That's what the Think standard is doing for agents. It's providing a shared state of reality, a shared state of data that anyone can build agent applications on top of, and rely that those apps will deliver the same experience no matter who builds them, no matter what AI model is used on top of it, no matter what agent interacts with it. They're all going to get this consistent experience of the data that exists there, the memories of these agents.
The idea that if you're going to have agents moving forward, in this new internet, representing you, understanding you, knowing you, and also understanding the context and like spatial kind of losing context as well of you and your experiences, or its own as well. That's a really big space to tackle. So what we're talking about goes further from just kind of like long-term retention, like a human's long-term memory, or like working memory, which is a huge one, which is kind of that intuitive reasoning. We're talking about adaptability as well, which is evolving with experience and emotion. So to get there, to go through those kind of like stepping stones, the idea is being able to leverage secure data storage that can be hooked up and tagged in ways that LLMs can actually parse it, can remember it, and put it as part of its kind of like context tokens. So being able to store that across multiple decentralized networks rather than in a centralized place where that can be taken down, your whole identity can be removed from you, or your agent's identity and experiences and triumphs and advancements, or adaptability. We're talking about the freedom to specify where you want to store your data and where that is going to be retrieved from, and improving the throughput of that as well so it can work at runtime.
Okay, so why is this so important to do this in a decentralized way?
Well, I guess the one thing I'd say on that is like, it brings up like Philip K. Dick, Total Recall for me. Like the book title of that was We Can Remember It For You Wholesale. And that's effectively what we've done with our, like, I don't know if you've heard like Tristan Harris talk about like social media being our first encounter with AI, and we lost, and now we're having our second one. But if you think about the way that you store your photos on Instagram or Facebook, a lot of people are seeing that as their photo backup or their photo album that they have for their whole life. But we've already seen like how bad those apps have gotten in terms of what they allow you to see, how they tinker with your feed to make sure you have more time on screen. As these walled gardens with like agent-focused services get bigger, more and more people will not leave Facebook or Apple or whatever garden they're in to go to another web app, because your agent will likely be getting all that stuff and bringing it to you. So at that point, if you have a company where you're the product and they own all your memories or all your photos in that example, they can decide, even though maybe you want to look at pictures of your kids, they're going to show you pictures of your ex, or they're going to show you pictures of the time you got in a motorcycle accident or whatever it is, right? They might be trying to create anxiety to keep you on screen rather than showing you the memory you're actually trying to recall.
Happy New Year's, and have I got great news for you. The most advanced agents in the world are coming to the Think protocol. We have always believed that agents are going to be building the metaverse, and the best tools, the best IP, and the best systems are all coming on board. I would love to introduce you to my friend Aaron to help share this great news and exactly how it's going to be happening over the coming weeks.
Yeah, g'day, Aaron here, CEO at Futureverse. Been in the tech industry for 20-something years now, and Web3 coming up to 10 years in 25. So done and seen a lot of things. Futureverse has kind of been a baby that's been cooking for about 7 of those years. We rolled up 11 companies in 2023 to create one like giant company that composed of protocols, generative tools, and world-class IP to bring those things together to help people like create and create the worlds they imagine and make them interoperable everywhere.
I love that, Aaron. We're happy to announce that the altered state protocol tokens are going to be rolling up into the Think protocol. That means that all the Think agents are going to get access to generative world building, skins that can change sizes based on the shape of the character, memory, minds that can navigate 3D worlds, and the list goes on and on. It's so exciting that all of those patents, those skills, that technology is going to be rolling up into the Think protocol. So what does this mean? Think agents are the interoperable agents that are going to build the metaverse and the entire next generation of the internet. So Aaron, can you tell us a little bit about Think and how that will work with the altered state protocol community?
Yeah, so this new Think essentially is the opportunity to merge these two protocol ideas together, and the teams together, and the visions together, and the communities together, and go out and win this space. Take all of the stuff that we've been building inside of Futureverse and power it up with this greater community of builders and network of applications and experiences and partners, and have some awesome people out the front of it that like are connected to everything that's going on. And Think really provides the opportunity to do that in a tangible way for the community that's been on this journey with us now. Merging these two things gives the opportunity for new people to come in, to be part of this, greater thing that we're building together, and for the people who've been on the journey to like kind of benefit and accelerate through that process too.
So you and I have both been building AI systems for almost a decade now, and you were one of the very first people to identify that these AI agents are going to be composable and that they're going to live on chain. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was I think around 2018, me and my brothers were playing around with the idea of agents, and we were in Web3 at that point pretty deep, and we always had this thesis that people should own the things that run the internet. Like that was kind of our kind of driving force, is how do you put communities and people back in charge of their identity, of their data, of the value rails, all the things that Web3 stands for. And in that thinking, we're like, well, AI is going to be this big thing down the track. Like, how do we make that work in an AI-centric web? And so started playing around, doing some experiments, and then starting to think about, well, what were the like things that would be important for a future web where people owned the agents that drove the web. And as everything like in this space, standards become really important. And so we started to map out what like an agent standard could look like, so that you could make agents that different apps could understand, that different AI models can understand,
that wherever they went, they felt like they were the same thing to that application or that experience. And that eventually ended up being the altered state machine protocol and the genome matrix as like the two ingredients for how do you create ownership of an agent's personality and the data around an agent so that it could go and interact with machine learning models or generative models or large language models. And those could be deployed everywhere by anyone, but still feel like the same super AI that agent was interacting with from the user's perspective.
So Aaron, will you tell our communities how we met?
I mean, like it was kind of one of those fated things in a way. Like we have some mutual friends that invited me to speak in an event that you guys were hosting as a panel. They've been around like what we've been doing for 5 years or so now. And we're like, you got to meet these guys. They're awesome. They're thinking the same things as you guys. If you guys got together, that'd be dope. So we just came, like, had this amazing talk where we were both like finishing each other's sentences kind of in a way, and caught up afterwards. I like dug into the things that you were building and the ideas that you guys were working on. And there was just this natural synergy where we had stuff, you had stuff. If we put that stuff together, it would be 1 + 1 = 1,000, you know, and that's really what it came down to, was aligned people with an aligned vision, with aligned capabilities, and actually like things that you guys were much better at than us, and, you know, things that we were further ahead in terms of building than you were. And putting those two things together accelerates everything, creates a bigger network of people building, creates a bigger community of partners that are aligned, helps get the standard bootstrapped and across more people and more builders, helps grow the number of applications and experiences that are using these tools. So every element was kind of aligning, and just little things along the way, like you know, we found out that we were using the same like marketing and PR people. It's like just all these little things like dropped into place to create this synergy.
It's great to find a community of people who are thinking as big as we are. I can't wait to see what happens in 2025. This is the year of takeoff. Let's go, baby.